Okay, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone present here today. A very warm welcome to Old Passion Singapore, Malaysia Global. My name is Jeannie Tan, your host today. Old Passion was formed in November 2020 and run by a group of dedicated host team members. We had our first trial webinar on the 23rd of September 2021. And our first public webinar was on the 30th of September 2021, under the mentorship of Dr. Bill Williams. We meet on every Thursday. The mission of Old Passion is to ignite passion for humanity, to nurture a mindset and leadership for passion and oblas, and to form passion groups for good causes. And of course, tonight we have our none other than Dr. Tunishai A. Ford from USA, who's our mentor, and she's always here supporting us and empowering us. So before I call upon Dr. Tunishai, I would like to pass the next segment to Mabel. Mabel?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, to me.
Thank you.
And it's Kumaran's creation. Let me share screen, put on the sound, and this one.
This is just the beginning. I'm very happy how it came out. Nothing like we planned, but it was perfect.
We go to the top with the Philippines. We go to the top with the Netherlands.
Singapore.
We go Singapore.
Absolutely.
All
We
over
are
the
in
world.
Singapore. We'll make a show of it. Yeah.
Bangladesh.
Yeah, indeed.
See you at the top.
See you at the top. Thank you, Dr. Bill. Appreciate you.
We are here, we are on passive, shining bright
Are we frozen?
Uh-oh.
Are we frozen?
No, we lost Mabel for a while, but she's back now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can't. Oh, your mic.
Okay, welcome everyone back again. I was off screen for a while. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce the speaker formally, and let me share just a minute. Wait, I want to share this one. This is Dr. Tunishai's 4 books, and let me introduce her. Dr. T is our coach. We are so glad to have her as our coach or passions coach, Singapore, Malaysia, Global. Dr. Tunishai Ford is the founder and CEO of Your Own Uniqueness Inc., a non-profit organization. She's an international transformational speaker and coach, empowerment trainer, teacher of life skills. She had a TV talk show and the former host of this talk show called the Dr. Tunishai Ford Show. Now, Dr. T has an online international magazine called Discovering You Magazine. So somewhere in the chat, we will post the link for all of us here to go online and get a copy of this free of charge, this online international magazine called Discovering You Magazine. On the screen here, you can see is Dr. T's. She is lovingly called in short Dr. T. And this is her 4 books named This is a Comma in Your Life, Not a Period. I Miss the Hugs, but Not the Hurts. The Spirit in You, Taking Control of Your Life. So as you can see, the link for her store is put in there, drdford.com, the store. So if you click this one, you can find all her 4 books there. Tonight, we are so privileged to have her come and empower us with this message called 8 Lifestyle Habits that Prevent You from Being Financially Comfortable. We are so grateful that Dr. T is laboring, in love to empower us month after month. And her message to us is in the line of keys to success, keys to the purpose of life, mindset growth, and how to have a fulfilled life. Realizing our dreams, reaching our potential. These are all her special projects that she can empower us. Let me say again, tonight she's going to share with us 8 lifestyle habits that will prevent us from being financially comfortable. Dr. T, thank you again. The platform is all yours. Take as long as you would. Let me stop the share. Okay, back to you, Dr. T.
You all see me? Let me make sure I got my
Yes,
camera.
seeing you.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Welcome, everyone. And I am so honored again. I love this platform. I always feel so welcome when I come here. And I'm just ecstatic because, like Mabel said, my mission in life, and Tony will tell you, those of you who are familiar with Tony Coleman, not only my best friend, she's my assistant, she's on our board of directors, she wears many hats, but she's someone that knows my heart because we spend a lot of time together. And it's not a day that doesn't go by that Tony and I don't talk. So, Mabel, the introduction that you gave me is very befitting because my mission in life is to help us all fulfill the dreams and the callings and walk in the purpose that God has ordained for all of us. So this is the reason why I bring messages like this, because I don't want us to fall short. I don't want us to miss out on what God has for us. The word of God tells us that, that the enemy comes to to steal, to kill and destroy. But he has come to give us life, and that more abundantly. But we cannot live the abundant life without finances. That's one of the privileges that we have. And unfortunately, we have people who abuse this privilege. And so I want to share with you tonight some habits that we need to dispel so that we can walk in the fullness, so that we can appreciate and understand that life is meant to be enjoyed. I mean, there are bad things in the world. We know that, but it doesn't have to impact you if you start making different lifestyle choices. So let's just look at right now some of the habits that prevent us all from being comfortable financially. Now, what's comfortable for me financially may not be comfortable for you. Some of you may aspire to be multimillionaires. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of you may be content with just making six figures. Some may be content with making a $50,000 salary or a $60,000 salary, whatever it may be. You might be on a fixed income and you'd be tickled pink if you had an extra $2,000 that came into your wallet every month. That's fine. But the most important thing about comfortability is that when you finish spending or paying your bills, you have money left over to pay off debts. You have money left over to splurge if you want to. You have money left over to invest. You know what I'm saying? And to just create a emergency fund, all those things. And you're going to hear me make that statement throughout the whole topic, that the most important thing about your finances is when it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you have left over. So how many of you want to learn and understand and appreciate it's not about how much money we make. It's about how much money we have left over. And that is what brings in the comfortability. So let's look at the first habit. The first habit that we want to just get rid of and stop doing so that we can start being comfortable, whatever that means to you. The first one I want to share with you all is living beyond your means. Ouch. Anybody say ouch, ouch, ouch? Anybody, does that apply to anybody? Living beyond your means. One of the worst things we can do is when we make money, so many people, when they start making more money, what do? They start spending more money. They make more money, and as fast as they make it, they're spending it. So what happens? That means that they are living beyond their means, and their debt to income ratio goes like this. It fluctuates. And then they find themselves being in a state of depression. They find themselves being sickly. They find themselves being oppressed, depressed. They found themselves just having a lot of stress on in their lives because they are not managing their finances. Okay, I want to call this in lifestyle inflation. This is when, again, when you get all this money, you make more money, and when you get the money, you spend it. You're living from paycheck to paycheck. You don't have money to save, and you don't have money to invest. Do you know how many people make a lot of money? Millionaires. There are millionaires out there who are broke. I want you to think about that a moment. There are millionaires out there who are broke. That means that as fast as they get that money, making all these millions, they're splurging. They're not investing, they're not saving, and they're broke. You know how many people tax invasion, they become homeless, they lose everything. Why? Because they splurge. Why? Because they have all this money and they don't understand. Remember, I always taught you all that money is a living entity. And you have to respect money. You have to honor money. You have to control money. You cannot allow money to control you. Money is not evil. Money is the answer to all things, but for the love of money is the root of all evil. So don't live beyond your means. That's the first thing. And I wanted to share this with you. One of the things you want to do so that you will not live beyond your means is budgeting. And I want to give you a formula. I want to give you a system that will keep you on track. It's called the 50-30-20 rule. If you're taking notes, it's called the 50-30-20 50-20 rule. That means 50% of your income should go on your needs, paying your bills. 50% of your money should go towards paying your bills. 30% of your money should go to paying what you would like to do, going to nice restaurants, traveling, things like that. And the 20% should go towards savings and paying off your debt consolidation. And you can even change those two other numbers. You can even switch it to 30-20. You can even switch those two last numbers if you want to. But I call it the 50-30-20 formula. 50% goes on paying your regular bills, like your house note or your rent, car note, gas, lights, things like that. 30% should be going towards things that you enjoy doing. And the last 20%, you should be using that money to save, invest, and pay off your bills. If you can live by that formula, you'll be well on your way to not living beyond your means. So that's number one. Remember now, we're talking about habits that prevent us from being comfortable. Again, being comfortable may be different for me than it is for you. But comfortability means, again, I'm going to always say this throughout this topic, is when you make money, but you have money left over after you pay all of your expenses. Number two, if you're taking notes, neglecting personal growth. These are habits that people may have, neglecting personal growth. Some people, they go out and they get degrees, PhDs, doctorates, masters, whatever they do, and that's where they stop. They don't do anymore. They don't read. They don't attend webinars like this. They don't go to conferences. They don't have any concept of how money works. Do you know how many people who are educated who have no idea how money works? They think it's just a means of exchange. Get money in, spend it. Get money in, spend it. That's all they feel. They feel like that's what money's for. I make my money, I spend my money. Many people do not have a regular savings account because they don't understand how money works. They have not taken classes. They don't know anything about financial literacy. They don't read. They're not around people that educate them. They don't have coaches. They don't have things like that. If you want to start growing, if you want to stay away from those habits, start investing in personal growth. Go to webinars like we're doing right now. This is a webinar that's teaching you something like this. Attend, look at YouTube channels. There are so many channels right now on YouTube that talk about finances. A financial advisor, get a life coach that talks about finances and things like that. You want to start growing personally. You want to start investing in yourself. Take the time to read books. There are all kinds of books on finances, not just finances, but your health, dealing with relationships, dealing with just personal growth, every area of your life. All those are investments that help you be the best version of yourself. So if you want to be comfortable financially, start investing in personal growth. Stop neglecting that area. If you're someone on this webinar right now that knows you need to just up your game in that area, it's never too late to start. Stop neglecting your personal growth. That's number two. Number three, again, we're talking about habits that prevent us from being financially comfortable. These are habits that we find ourselves in that hinder us from really living our best versions of our lives. Number three, maintaining unhealthy habits. Let me say that one again. Maintaining unhealthy habits. Your health and your wealth are more closely linked than you may think. Your health and wealth go hand in hand. If you are wealthy or you're comfortably wealthy, then that means that you should be taking care of your health. But if you're unhealthy, what's going to happen? Think about that. Doctor bills, hospital stays, medication, paying for people to come and take care of you. You have to pay for that. These are all areas that will eat up your money. It doesn't make any difference how much money you bring in. If you're unhealthy, that money is going to be spent trying to make sure that you get well again. There's so many people who have habits of smoking cigarettes, drinking, using recreational drugs, gambling. They're just very stressed. They don't exercise. very, very poor diet. And having a very poor diet, I would say, is probably number one because all of us eat. All of us may not smoke, all of us may not drink, all of us may not be in stressful situations, but all of us eat. What are you putting in your body? How are you feeding yourself? What's the ratio? Are you eating more junk foods than you eat healthy foods? Are you eating organic foods, or are you eating those foods with all those chemicals? What are you doing to your body? All of this will catch up with you sooner or later. So if you want to have a comfortable bank account, if you want to be comfortable in your finances, start watching your health. That is so important. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress that enough. Remember, you all know that I am a cancer survivor. I've told you my story. You all know that I'm a cancer survivor. And all of you know, I told you the story how I neglected my health. I didn't go to doctors like I was supposed to. I didn't eat right. I was very, very busy, always on the run, chasing the dollar. That's what I did. I chased the dollar. And what happened? When I became ill with cancer, I was off for about 9 to 10 months. I couldn't work. I couldn't work. So what was going on? The money that I could have been making, there was no money coming in. The money that I could have been making, or the money that did come in, was going towards what? Paying for doctors, paying for chemo, paying for radiation, trying to buy healthy foods, paying for somebody to come and take care of me. That's where my money went. I went from making well over $3,000 a month to 300 because I had to get on what they call here in America welfare. So this is all the things that happen when you don't take care of yourself, when you're not conscious of your health. This is one of the reasons why I'm spending more time on this one, because this is so important. There's a correlation between your financial health and your physical health. If you neglect one, the other one is going to be affected too. So please make sure, if you really want to be comfortable financially, you have to take care of your health. Because if you do not take care of your health, it's going to show up, it's going to tell on you, and you're going to find yourself spending more money on health care than you're going to have in your pocket to save and invest. So again, number three, maintaining unhealthy habits is one of the ways to have be financially uncomfortable, and you do not want to be right financially uncomfortable. Number four, lack of financial literacy. A lack of financial literacy. Again, as I stated before, there are so many people who don't have a concept of how money works. They get the money and they spend it. They don't read. They don't have relationships with people who are building wealth. They just go to work. They work in their trade, whatever it might be. They might be a factory worker. They might be an attorney. They might have might be an entrepreneur, but they don't understand how money works. So it's a lack of financial literacy. Your personal finances are very, very important. Are you saving your money? Do you know how to invest your money? Are you learning how to pay off debt? Are you learning how to save for a rainy day? Do you have a financial advisor? These are things that we need to understand. There's so many people, again, who do not understand the simplicity of just having a simple savings account. Do you know how many people, and you probably know people like that yourself, who do not even have a basic savings account? They don't even have a basic savings account. They don't have an emergency fund. They're not budgeting. They're just here again making money. So that's another factor, a lack of financial literacy. Start reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the Millionaire Next Door. Those are some examples of some good books you start reading. Get with a life coach. Take a financial literacy class if you don't understand. But don't allow your money to get away from you. Just a simple concept of understanding compound interest, learning how to invest. You're learning how to pay off your debts. These are things that are so important if you want to be comfortable. If you want to be comfortable, if you want to be comfortable financially. Remember, as I said in the beginning, your goal is, again, it's not about how much money you bring in. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money do you have left over after you have paid all of your expenses. That's the most important thing. And when you learn that concept, you're on your way to being financially comfortable. That's number four. Number 5, failing to plan for the future. Failing to plan for the future. I wish I could do it all over again. When I was a young woman, I did not understand the concept of planning for the future. I think most young people don't. They just take one day at a time and they take life as it comes. No one taught me about investing. I didn't know anything about investing. The only thing I knew how to do was save. But I wasn't around people who understood how money worked. I wasn't around people that were investing. I wasn't around people who taught me debt consolidation. My mother, and it's really, really sorry to say this, but my mother was always in debt. I mean, I don't mean little debt, I mean big debt. And my big brother, who had a lot of money at the time, was always getting her out of debt. That's all I saw. That's all that I was around. And I'm pretty sure many of you, if you think about that, may have experienced different things the same as I've experienced them, not really understanding how the money works. So therefore, you didn't plan for your future. You just took one day at a time. You went to work, you made your money, and you may have put some money in savings, and that may have been it. But a smart person is just like the ant. When they toil during the summer and they have money left and they have food and substance for the winter, that's how we should live our lives. While we have plenty, start investing that money. Look for areas where you can invest. It's just like the parable of the talents. One had 5 talents, multiply that. Another one had 2, he multiplied that. And the one that had 1, they buried it. Don't be like the one who buried the 1 talent. What did God call him? Wicked and perverted. You don't want to be like that. You don't want to be a person who doesn't plan for the future, because you'll find yourself being an older person right now in America. Right now in the United States, and anybody who lives in the United States knows this, there are so many people who are living on Social Security and they're barely making ends meet. They're surviving on less than $15,000 per year. Per year. $15,000 per year. That's what they're living on. They're living below poverty level. And that's how many Americans live. Why? Because they did not prepare for the future. And I would like to just encourage you all, if you know anybody who, young people, your children, your grandchildren, right now, start encouraging them to save. Start encouraging them to learn to invest. Start encouraging them now not to accrue debt. And if they do have debt, begin to pay those debts off. And it's never too late to start planning for the future. Even if you may say, well, I'm already a senior. It's never too late. It's never too late to start an emergency fund. It's never too late to start investing. It's never too late to do that. Find a financial advisor, somebody that can sit down with you that would tell you what type of investment will be good for you where you are in your life based on what you're bringing in and what's out there. A lot of things that you can do to start investing, to start growing wealth. Don't be passive about this. Okay, this is so important, because when you don't plan for your future, your future will become your present, and it will not be a pretty picture. So many people are in that situation. I just thank God that at some point I learned. I just thank God that at some point I am investing right now. I do understand the concept of money, and I don't understand everything. I'm growing and I'm learning. But right now, I encourage you, if you're one of those people who you just take your money and you make it and you spend it, you make it and you spend it, and you live from check to check, that needs to stop. Because right now, I can assure you that you're not comfortable. Everyone could be comfortable. Everyone could get to the place where there's money left over after they've made and spent money on all of their bills. And that's the goal, to make sure that whatever you bring in, whatever you make, whatever you earn, there's money left over. And that's when you become comfortable. That's when you become comfortable. Start an emergency fund. Start the ratio that I taught, the 50-30-20 ratio. Start doing that with your budgeting. Start debt consolidating. If you have debts in your life, begin to start consolidating those debts. Don't live from paycheck to paycheck. Some people get their paycheck, and the very first week they get paid, they're broke. That means the next three weeks, they're going around with no money. They don't have money for gas. They're going in their cars. They're borrowing money from their friends and family. They can barely buy food. Because why? Because they splurged. Because they went out there and they spent their money foolishly. They made the money, but they just spent their money foolishly. Don't be like that. So again, start planning. And it's never too late to plan. As long as you have breath in your body right now, today, on the 13th of February, if that's not you, you can still start. It's never too late. It's never too late to start saving. It's never too late to start budgeting. It's never too late to start investing. Make that your goal. Again, we want to be comfortable financially. We want to make sure that when we get money in our hands, that at the end of the day, we have money left over. That's our goal. So that's number 5, failing to plan for the future. Number 6, if you're taking notes, succumbing to lifestyle pressures. Succumbing to lifestyle pressures. So what does that mean, Dr. T? Keeping up with the Joneses. Have you heard that expression? Keeping up with the Joneses. I want to be like the Joneses. But see, you may not have the Joneses bank account. You don't know what the Joneses are doing to make the money. And the Joneses may not be in debt. But you want to look like the Joneses. The Joneses are driving around in luxury cars. They have fine homes. They're traveling. But you don't know their scenario. You don't know what they went through to get to where they are right now. But you want to have the material. You're very materialistic. Okay? You want to have that image. You want to give people the impression that you've arrived. You've got it going on. But remember now, when you're driving that luxury car, nobody else is paying that car note but you. Oh, it's very impressive, but nobody else is paying that car note but you. You might live in that 3,000 plus square foot home, but nobody's paying the mortgage but you. I know people like that, who they live beyond their means because they want to impress people. And then they're always broke. They're always crying broke. Isn't that sickening? You have a person who's driving around in a Mercedes and they live in a 5,000 square foot home, but they can't even afford to pay. They're in debt. Can you explain that? How are you in debt? But you have all these material things. You want to give people the impression that you've arrived. And that is one of the areas that people succumb to, because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to give people the impression that there's somebody that they're not. Get out of that trap. Don't do that. Remember, we're talking about habits that prevent us from being financially comfortable. Stop succumbing to lifestyle pressures. Focus on, again, debt consolidation. Focus on investing. Focus on budgeting your income. Focus on finding passive income where you can maneuver and have more money coming in if you're in that position where you need more money. Focus on those things. And stop trying to look at your neighbor and be like your neighbor, because you don't know their situation. Be what you can be. Don't worry about what somebody else has. Live in your means. Again, number 1, live in your means. Don't live beyond your means. Live within your means, because you want to be comfortable. Being stressed out because of debt is a stress that never goes away. When you go to bed, it's on your heart. When you wake up in the morning, it's on your heart. It affects your health. It'll take you out of here. So many people die prematurely because they're so stressed out because of debt. Because of debt. They leave here prematurely because of debt. Marriages break up because of debt. People become alcoholics and drug addicts because of debt. Diseases, cancer, other insidious diseases come upon them because of debt. It's a very, very, it's a very evil enemy. And you don't want to live your life like that. So don't try to impress other people. Live within your means. If you can afford a luxury car, hallelujah. If you can't, don't worry about it. Drive what you can drive. If you can't afford a 3,000 square foot home, don't worry about it. If your house is only 1,100 square feet, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Make it home. Make it the way you want to live. Make it comfortable for you. And again, be happy there. Be happy where you are. Learn to be content. Don't try to compete with somebody else. And when you do that, you will learn and you will be comfortable financially. So number 6, the habit that you want to dispel is succumbing to lifestyle pressures. Number 7, I kind of touched on this, but number 7, neglecting passive income opportunities. Number 7, neglecting passive income opportunities. Now, it's really amazing that we're all on this platform and all of us are ONPASSIVIans. So we've already, in a way, began to tackle this particular issue because all of us, because we're ONPASSIVIans, we are going to glean, as soon as things open up, a passive income. That's why they call it ONPASSIVE. This is a passive income. That means it's not your primary job. Having a passive income means that you are making money while you sleep. You're making money with very little effort or very little investment, but yet it brings you different income streams. Everyone should have more than one income stream. If you only have one income stream, then you are definitely not comfortable. Unless you have a job, even people who are attorneys, even people who work a 9-to-5 job who are making 6 figures, they have enough common sense to go out there and do other things to bring in more money. Nobody should survive on just their primary 9-to-5 job. It limits your accumulation of wealth. Always remember, you should always have more than one income stream. And again, this is one of the areas that people have a habit. They have one job, they go to a 9-to-5 job, and that's where they stop. Be creative. They say, well, Dr. T, what are some of the examples of passive income? One of them, like I just mentioned, is ONPASSIVE. ONPASSIVE. All of us who took the time to become a part of ONPASSIVE, we understand the importance of having more than one income stream. That's just one. But right now, things are on hold with ONPASSIVE. So what are you doing to bring in other income? All of us should be looking for other ways to bring in income. How about selling digital products? What about maybe having a YouTube channel, monetizing, if you have a YouTube channel, monetizing that. And the easiest way is making investments with yield high dividends. Okay, that yield high dividend, we should do that, invest. What about cryptocurrency? There are all kinds of things out there we can do to bring in income, different streams of income that's passive, making money while you are sleeping. This is so important. This is so important. One of the things I do, I have mutual funds. I've also invested in crypto. I've also invested in gold and silver, gold and precious metals. These are things you can do to start investing. These are things you can do to bring in income. You might want to write a book, create an ebook, put that online, sell those things digitally, monetize things that's your passion. These are ways to bring in income. But you should never be content with just having a job and having one income stream. I don't believe it's God's will that we all just do one thing. He's given you many gifts and talents. Take your passion and turn it to a way to bring in income. If you're not doing that, if your 9-to-5 job is not affording you to live your dream, create an income stream living your dream. Create an income stream doing what you enjoy doing. So again, neglecting passive income opportunities is a way that we do not live comfortably financially. That's number 7. And last but not least, poor time management. Poor time management. You've heard the expression, time is money. Time is money. That's absolutely right. This is not the time, ladies and gentlemen, to be passive, to be complacent. While we're waiting on ONPASSIVE to come to fruition for all of us, we should be busy. Like I said, the 7 areas that I talked about, we should be busy paying off our debts. We should be busy trying to find other income streams. We should be busy trying to get rid of bad eating habits, taking care of our bodies, reading books, going to different conferences, webinars, learning, growing. This is the time we should be spending time improving ourselves while we're waiting. Don't allow time to go by without you doing something that's going to better your life. That's one of the most precious commodities that we have. time. So many people waste time on YouTube. They waste time social media. All they're doing is social media. They're not doing anything. It's not that they're learning. They're just social media, all kind of junk out there. Look at all the junk. They spend time watching soap operas, things like that. They're wasting time. They're not putting any energy into reading or learning. They're not putting any energy into investing. They're not putting any energy into growing, in terms of learning. They're not putting any energy in that area. So if you want to be financially comfortable, start respecting one of the most important commodities that you have, and that's time. Don't be a victim of poor time management. Time is money. When you spend time learning, when you spend time with people who have like minds in terms of financial wealth, you're going to find yourself growing. You're going to find yourself going to another level. You're going to change your mindset, and you're going to become the best version of yourself. So when you apply, or should I say, when you begin to dispel these habits, and they are again living beyond your means, neglecting your personal growth, maintaining unhealthy habits, lack of financial literacy, failing to plan for the future, succumbing to lifestyle pressures, neglecting passive income opportunities, and again, poor time management. When these habits are prevalent in your life, you're going to miss out on being comfortable financially. Turn those things around and begin to see yourself soaring. Begin to see yourself become the best version of yourself and get rid of these areas that are not helping you. When I come up with these ideas or come up with these topics, I'm always trying to share with you all things that are going to help you better your life and move forward. I know we're all adults, but everybody needs a push. We all have a blind spot that we fall short in. And you have to always examine yourself daily and find out, what can I do to become the best version of myself? And when I bring these topics to you, that's my goal, to help you become the best version of yourself. So when you stop doing these 8 things, I promise you, you will start experiencing financial comfortability. I'm Dr. T, and I thank you so much for allowing me to share.
Thank you, Dr. T. Wow, we are all digesting. And okay, while I'm still digesting, Antoinette, your hand is raised, so you go first. And where
I
is John? Go ahead.
great presentation.
Yes.
I'll tell you, it's a blessing being your friend because as she travels down her financial journey, I'm watching, I'm learning, and I'm prepping too. And she's been a great example to me. And what she shared, I'm in the process of trying to put in place. So great information. Thank you, Dr. T, and thank you for being my friend.
Yes. Wow.
Thank you, Sister Antoinette. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. T. Wow, that's a real powerhouse.
Yeah.
What you've just shared with us. People take for granted and they don't really think through like what you have just shared. Actually, these are things that we know, but are we doing it?
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah. And people just live day to day, without realizing what they're doing. And like you said, there are a lot who just want to follow the Joneses and they just live like the Joneses. And that's how, they get themselves into trouble. And we have seen that. We've seen that. Many of them. So thank you for bringing all this up, and enlightening us, and waking all of us up again. A lot
Yeah.
are sleeping, yeah.
Yeah. Dr. T always give us all these keys that sound we're all familiar, but putting them all together is really like what Jeannie says is powerhouse, and it's so simple but so true, and also easy to follow. You know, they're just really some practical tips. Wow. I think even when you say the money formula, the formula, you make it so simple, 50, 30, 20, isn't it? If
Yeah.
someone wants to follow, you have given us really a formula, and it's easy, 50, 30, 20. So that's the comfort zone, you know. Wow, fantastic, fantastic. And how it makes all of us different is uh, it's not how much we make, but how much we can save, is it? It's not how much we can. Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you already have a book, or you just come out with all this every week, every month, Dr. T? You
Now
know?
that's my secret. Now I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
give you
yeah,
a
yeah.
secret, man. I'm gonna have to start giving you a bill. Start giving you a bill.
Fantastic. I mean, all your points are always so straight to the heart, straight to the brain, straight to the heart, and it's so simple and so true. When you hear it, it's so true and so enlightening, and it's so encouraging to do it. And I like the way what you say it, that is an evil enemy. How you
Yes,
can
it
put
is.
all those words together.
It is. There is an evil enemy. Oof. It's a stressor.
Mm. Even to use this, I don't think it's new, but to hear it, monetize your passion. Not many people are able to articulate in that way. Monetize your passion. How to turn your passion into a stream of income. And they're saying if you work your passion, you never work a day in your life.
That's right. That's right.
Wow, my
That's right.
goodness. It's so good. So good. So good. Is there anyone want to ask some hard questions?
Not too hard.
Some hard questions, I would.
John, you don't have anything to say? John?
Well,
Whoa.
only thing I
John?
would say is, it's very valuable information. And as I sit and listen, I kind of think, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
now, the reason why I didn't just jump in and say anything right away is that for my particular situation, I wouldn't want to get into the complicated explanation of what's going on with
Yeah.
me, but all I can say is, as it goes point by point, I have to. I understand it. I'm one of those people that wants to sit here and go like, well, wait, I might be in the situation of all these things I'm hearing, but hey, it's not my fault, or but yet I have to get to the point where a lot of the things that Dr. T was putting forward to us, I have to put in play myself. And I think that's why I didn't jump in right away. I was like, well, I'm hearing all these points, and a lot of them I could certainly take advantage of at some point. I have certain things in my life right now that are kind of holding me up on a lot of the simple issues that she was talking about. That's the reason why I thought, well, what could I really say about it other than, yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
hearing it and I
Yeah.
appreciate it. And I can certainly take advantage of a lot of this
Mm.
advice. So I'll just leave it there. And everybody, I just want to say, stay positive, stay focused, and be patient for ONPASSIVE because it's coming. So I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. A lot of times when I come up with these topics, Mabel,
Mm.
I look at the things that are going on around my own life. And I talk to Tony a lot. And I see how, and I don't want, let me just say this. I don't want to come across like Dr. T has arrived. I'm human. I make mistakes too, but I can say I learn from my mistakes. I try to. See, a lot of people continue to go through life, they continue to stumble, and they haven't learned. Because Tony will tell you, I always say, Tony, when you go through something, what did you learn? If you didn't learn, you're going to go through that same thing over again because you didn't get it. You didn't get it. I come up with these topics because, especially with finances, because that's something that's very, very prevalent right now. People are struggling. People are struggling. And I ask myself, why are they struggling like this? Choices. It's their lifestyle choices. You know, you go out there, like, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you go out there, you buy a car. Now, you want a car and you buy a car that has already, let's say you buy a vehicle that has 90,000 miles on it. To me, that doesn't make any sense. But the outside is shiny. It looks good. You know what I'm saying? It's a classic. But the odometer says 90,000 miles. How many more miles do you think you're going to be able to enjoy on that vehicle? To me, that was a bad investment. To me, now you might be styling, again, keeping up with the Joneses. You're styling. But while the other person who bought a brand new car, they may have a car note that might be a little higher, but they have a warranty on that vehicle. Okay? It may be a lease where they can turn it back in. And they're going to have low mileage. They're going to be able to enjoy that vehicle. If anything goes wrong with that car, they can take it right to the dealership and pay little or nothing out of their pocket. But the person with the $90,000, 90,000 miles on their vehicle, they're not going to be able to enjoy that vehicle very long. Does that make sense? Those are choices because we don't think about money. We don't think about our choices. Then you take that same the same car with 90,000 miles on it, and you're going back and forth to different states. You're traveling across the states. You're not doing local driving. You're traveling to another state 2 or 3, 4 times a year. So by the time you stop, how many miles are you going to have on that vehicle? You see where I'm going with that? That was a poor investment. That was a poor money choice. Then you have people, they work, they make a good salary, and they rack up these bills. They take their credit card and they put everything on the credit card. Everything. But they don't pay the credit card down. All they do is pay the minimum balance, the minimum payment. And they think, well, I'm in good standing because I'm paying the minimum. But then at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, they got this big balance. They have this big balance, and it seems like their debt is never going to go away, although you're paying on it every single month. But the debt is never going to go away. Why? Because you're backing up the interest. The interest is still growing, and you're paying more toward the interest. You're paying more toward the interest than you are the principal. Do you see what I'm saying? So again, it's all about money choices. And these are everyday people. These are people who may make a good salary. These are not poor people. These are people who have good jobs, but they still make poor money choices. Then let's take another scenario. Here's a person who makes $100,000 a year. And they have nice things, the home, the car, they travel, they buy nice clothes, but they don't invest. They don't invest. So now here they are broke. And then if they had a mutual fund, or if they invested, if they had a money market fund that yielded a high interest, or if they had some type of other investment, crypto or whatever it may be, maybe while they're downtime, while they don't have a lot of money coming in, otherwise they could depend on their investment. But they didn't do that. Do you see where I'm going with that? That's what I'm saying. So it's not like I'm trying to browbeat anybody or put anybody on the spot or hurt anybody's feelings. It's like these are things that people just don't do. And everybody who's in the situation are not people who are poor. These are people who have money. They make money, but they just don't know how to handle money. And then you do have people who are poor and they don't know how to come out of that situation because again, they don't understand how money works. So this is the reason why I choose topics like this, Mabel, because it's not because I arrived. It's because I'm learning and I'm doing things differently because I don't want to live from paycheck to paycheck. I don't want to be, after I pay all my bills, I'm broke. I don't want that to be my scenario. I don't want to go to bed stressed all the time. Can't figure out how am I going to get my next meal because I spent all my money. Can't put gas in my vehicle because I spent all of my money. I don't have anything left over. And there's so many people, more than you believe, who live like that. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Wonderful. Melanie?
Thank you, Dr. Ford. Good morning, everyone. Dr. Ford, thank you for sharing your valuable financial advice. It's worth listening to it. The insights are very incredible. And you're correct. Sometimes lifestyle, sometimes not. You know, there's pros and cons. There are times you're trying your best to, put savings aside and you go right back into the savings. Why? It's because inflation, as we know, and your job is not increasing your pay. So there are different factors that can contribute to you not being able to save properly. But with that being said, what I have tried doing is just started doing it, putting aside sleeves. When I say sleeves, little pockets with little notes, money notes. I'm talking of money. Putting aside a little by little, starting from day 1 up to day 30. And that's how I'm trying to put aside something, and you're right. If we put aside little in different strings, then we'll have something for the future. I had done that, but all went away because sometimes life events can
Yes.
come, and then it can it can sweep away everything. But you're correct. Starting somewhere, we can all start over. Starting somewhere by putting aside little notes. I'm talking of money again, or starting up how you call it, crypto, right? Which
Yes.
I am in. I don't know how crypto works. I'm just learning, but I am gonna do it because I will need the money for when ONPASSIVE comes, and I can need that money to help someone. So we can just sit and say we are waiting. Yeah, we are waiting, yes. But while we wait, we have to do something. We have to look after finances. Otherwise, we'll be waiting on a rotten seat.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm not
Yes.
talking about ONPASSIVE because I'm here. But we have to do something while we wait, really and truly. So thank you
Yeah.
very much for the insight, and I appreciate it.
May
Thank you,
I say this?
Jeannie. And yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. May I say this, Melanie?
Yeah.
I understand, and I want you to understand this. Life happens, like Melanie said. She had a savings, she put money aside, and for whatever reason, she had to go into it. And see, that's another thing that I could talk very fluently about. Sometimes we're around people, and I don't know your situation, Melanie. You don't have to tell me that. You don't have to tell us that that's your personal business. But sometimes we're around people because they have a different mindset. If they make different lifestyle choices, it impacts you, especially if it's a child, your grandchildren, or your children. If you're a mother or father, you feel compelled to help them. And they go out there and make poor choices. And so here they are in a situation where they're broke, they can barely make ends meet, they can't pay their rent, they can't pay their car note. So they look to mama, they look to daddy. And you don't want to turn them away because you don't want to see them on the street. You know they have to go to work. So you find yourself, and I don't know if this is your case, Melanie, but you find yourself going into your savings or your investments or maybe even your emergency fund to help them. And then you see that money dwindle down, dwindle down, dwindle down. And at some point, they get on their feet and they're fine. But you're still where they left you, starting all over again. So I understand it's called life. But all I'm saying is that for most people, if we could just make an effort to make different choices and try the best that we can to keep people like that out of our pockets. And I'm not saying don't give. I'm not saying don't be empathetic. I'm not saying don't help your children or your grandchildren or somebody that's close to you and you see this a genuine need. I'm not saying don't do that. But we have to get to a place where we can say enough is enough. I can't be your only source. You've got to make other choices. You got to reach out to other people. There are other resources out there. You're going to have to start tapping into that because I'm not the bank. I am not Dr. T Bank and Trust. You understand? And that's what I'm saying. So we had to get to a place where we need to learn how to cut those people off and let them know enough is enough. I can't do it, because when you become bankrupt and you don't have anything, who can you go to pay your car note, to pay your house note or your rent? Who can you go to? And that's why it's so important that we learn to make different choices, and the people that we're helping, we have to put conditions on them and say, okay, I'm going to help you, but this is where it stops. Next month, I can't do this and mean it. That means you're going to get out there. You got a whole month to try to figure this out. But you cannot continue to be the source, because that's another reason why a lot of people are broke, because they're helping people who have bad habits. They're not making good choices, and they pull on you. Now, that may not be your case, Melanie, but it's been my scenario many times.
Yeah. Dr. Ford, I just want to end by saying, yeah, children can be spouses too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yes, yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask, sorry, I don't want to take up everybody's time. You know, silver coins. You know, I go to the post office and they have the coins in little cases, right? It's nicely shown or displayed in little cases. Is that a form of investment? I look at them all the time and I was almost ready to buy one. They are not cheap, but I'm looking at them and I'm saying maybe in future that will worth something, even if it's not for me, but for maybe for my children, or like coins,
Investing
you know.
investing in silver and gold is always a good investment, because the
Okay.
value of the dollar is going to be going down. We already know that. The value of the dollar, we don't even, right? In other countries, their currency, so always precious metal is always a good investment, but you want to talk to someone who's an expert. Don't just, you don't want to just go to a post office and buy something, or wherever you go. Go to a reputable place where they sell precious metals, where they can actually tell you the value of the coin. And then you want to get with a trader, a broker, who can actually educate you on that. Like you said, even with your cryptocurrency, I also invested in crypto. I didn't buy a whole lot because I don't really understand it, like you said, but it could be a great investment because it can go up. We can go fluctuate down and go up, but you can make a good investment by having a financial planner and somebody that really understands the concept. So when you invest in gold or in precious metals, find an expert. They're out there. Even right here on the passive, you might be people who are into finances. Dr. John, he might know about cryptocurrency. Reach out to him. Other people who are into financial planning, maybe even God, I can't think of her name right now. But my point is that there's so many people on the platform who deal with finances. They may be able to advise you. But yes, coins, silver, and gold is always going to be a good investment. It's going to be worth a lot of money. So make sure that you have it. Make sure that you keep it. And when you do get ready to go sell it, make sure you go to a reputable place where you can get the best value for that coin.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Melanie, for asking that
You're
question.
welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And, thank you, Dr. Tunishai. Okay, we have Sister Antoinette's hand up. Sister Antoinette, over to you.
I just wanted to chime. Thank you. I just wanted to chime in on what Dr. T was talking about, people pulling on your finances, because years ago, I was doing very well as a youth in my 20s and early 30s. And I had 3 different bank accounts, savings accounts. At one point, I could have pulled $10,000 out easily and bought land if I wanted to. And being she has this formula, and I never can quote it right. And
I got
so
it.
if Dr. T, you don't
Yeah,
mind.
compassion minus wisdom equals foolishness. Compassion
And
minus wisdom equals foolishness.
And I'll tell you, at one point I helped someone pay their house note until they could get back on their feet. $6,000 later, someone that was not paying their bills, electric bill, $1,800. And it just goes on and on, to the point where now I'm at a place where I have to rebuild. And I can honestly say that it was the poor choices, having a big heart with a lot of compassion and no wisdom. And so I know and I can relate to what Dr. T is saying, because those same people that I helped years ago are nowhere to be found. And there were times when I was homeless, and they were nowhere to be found. They couldn't help me. And when I couldn't help anyone else, they were nowhere to be found. So I learned a very valuable lesson. And again, I thank God for Dr. T and being her friend, because I learn a lot being around her and seeing how she moves through a lot of those areas, and even in the areas that I came out of that I didn't have wisdom in. So I thank you, Dr. T.
Thank you. Thank you, Antoinette.
Yeah, and we thank you, Dr. T.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Stephanie and Dr. T, for sharing this. I think this is very, very true. And I have experienced that myself, helping people. And then after helping so much, the people just disappeared and walk out of you. And when you ask for the money that they have borrowed or taken from you so much, and you just ask them to try and pay you back little by little, and then they turn their back and bite you, and say, if I don't have money even to eat, how can I pay you? Oh my goodness, and I don't think that he has no money to eat, it's just that they don't want to pay, So I went through that once, I went through that twice. And like what Dr. T says, yeah, that's foolishness. You have a lot of compassion, you have a soft heart, and you just want to help people. But in the end, you get hurt, so hurt. And until now, I've learned my lesson. So, whenever I still do help people if I can, but I'm more cautious now. And I will exercise my wisdom now that, I will help till a certain level, and that's it. Because we cannot go on and on and on and on, and there's no full stop. So what about us? We also have a family, we also have children, we also have grandchildren to take care of. Yeah. So I also just want to share that. Thank you, Dr. T.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and when you want to help and it's not ideal to help, you really have to bite your lips. It's not easy to say no. Really not easy to say no. So we have to stay within our wisdom when and how to help.
You have to ask yourself, this is one of the things that I always share with Tony. God wants us to be compassionate. No, he's not telling you to be stingy, but you have to ask yourself, the person that you're helping, that's where my formula comes in. Why are they in that situation? Now, it's one thing if they were in those fires in California, the big, it's okay. And then you were in a position where you could make a lot of food or give somebody money to go to a hotel. That's different. They lost their home. There was no fault of their own.
Yeah.
But if you have a person who, like Tony didn't tell you that this person that she was helping pay their rent and stuff, they were out there buying designer clothes. They were buying their children designer shoes. They just weren't paying their rent because they knew Tony had them. Tony was going to back them up and pay the rent. See, she didn't tell you that part. And then when this girl got married, she didn't tell her husband, whatever was going on. But the whole point is that Tony was the bank. Tony was the bank. But this person was going out there taking their money and doing what they want to do with their money, and then crying broke every month so Tony could pay the rent. See what I'm saying? So who are you helping? See, there's nothing wrong with being compassionate, but understand, how did this person get in the situation? Now, I'm not saying if a person genuinely needs help, you don't want to see your children out on the street. You don't want to see them, in a shelter situation. But sometimes you got to look at why a person is in their situation. Because maybe, and I'm not trying to get all spiritual, but maybe God is trying to teach them something. And he's saying, leave your hand out of it. Get out of the situation. I'm in this. I'm doing this because I got to teach them a lesson. They got to learn it, because as long as you're intervening, they're going to always be in the situation. I'm trying to take them somewhere, and you're a hindrance. So Tony was a hindrance. Okay, she was a hindrance because she had all this money. She was giving, and now she's in a situation where she needs help. And those same people, if she called them right now, they would not be there. But all that goes for all of us. So God wants us to be compassionate. That's why Mr. Ash created ONPASSIVE. That's why Mabel created, and whoever the team is, created Oh Passion, Oh Blessed. But you're going to be using an avenue. It's not coming out of your own pocket per se. You've created an avenue where you can help the masses without you personally going broke. There are great needs out there, and they're genuine needs. But God wants us to use a venue where we can be more effective. And you going bankrupt is not being effective.
Yes.
But Oh Passion and Oh Bless, that's an effective channel where you can help a multitude and continue to grow it and grow it and grow it and help more people and so on and so forth. God has never called anybody to go bankrupt helping somebody.
Yeah, just now, Dr. T, you were mentioning about intercepting, or God is actually working in this person's life, and it's best that we know when and how to step in. And I always remember what my pastor says, don't be a human honey. Don't be a human honey, because God is doing something, and honey is so sweet, but it's not divine, it's human, and therefore it just delay the transformation of that person, to reach a certain time of their life with God. So honey is wonderful for the person, but when it's human, it interferes with God's work in that person's life. So again, wisdom is so important, discernment. So where there is what a life lesson that we're going through, reality, challenge, enlightenment. So is there anyone who wants to contribute? If not, we want to keep it sharp so that the video can be short and sharp for the rest of the listeners to catch the 8 points. And of course, our contribution so far has been really wonderful, Shall we get Dr. T to help us close with a closing statement?
Yes, please.
Okay. Building wealth is not just about making more money. It's about making smarter choices with your resources. So you want to avoid the common 8 mistakes or pitfalls with your money choices. Start by examining the habits and identifying areas that you want to improve in, because all the 8 things I shared may not be what you are guilty of. You probably have mastered many of these and you don't have this issue. So start small. Start small by building wealth or your comfortability. It might be for you debt consolidation. It might be for you just starting an emergency fund. It might be for you learning how to budget better using that formula 50, 30, 20. It might just be for you just learning how to say no to people who make choices that are in your pocket. Whatever it may be, your goal is to learn how to be financially comfortable. And the only way that we're going to be financially comfortable is to start making different choices. Because again, we always want to be the best version of ourselves. And money is a very important factor in order for us to do that. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Even those last few statements is so precious, you know, even the last few statements. Wow. Well, we will close tonight and we wish more people and many people will get to see this video and be enlightened and be empowered
Yes.
and be
Power.
financially blessed after hearing this session.
Yes.
Dr. T, thank you again. Thank you for coming every month to empower us, and we are grateful and we are blessed. We bless you manyfold back in Jesus' name in every
you.
area and aspect of your life.
Yes.
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. God bless.
Good night.
Good night,
Good night.
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Good night, John.
Bye. Good
Bye.
night. God bless
Bye-bye.
everyone.